Brian's having a hard day, and it's not just because it's Monday, right? So I would have to say, I wouldn't necessarily say I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I would have to say for months and months and months, it's been super, super tough with my little chillins, and all their different adversity that's happening with them, struggling and them having a hard time with friends and at school, yada, yada, yada. So I'd have to be honest. Don't judge me. The thought of coming home from my trip yesterday literally put me in anxiety mode because I did not want to come home. And no, it wasn't because I was on a fantastic trip and didn't want to come home. It was literally because I did not want to see my husband, and I did not want to see my kids. And it sounds super snotty and sad, and who could have such a horrible life? I'm not saying I have a horrible life, but my life has felt chaotic for a while, and I realized today as I just got out of EMDR, I'm sitting in the parking lot, that I have done really well at piling things on for so long that this morning I finally got to the point where I was like one of those pressure kettles or whatever after a while of so much heat and tension and trying to help everybody out there with their marriages, their relationships, with their struggles, and then being at home with mine and not putting enough into myself that my kettle blew, okay? Like my cork blew off its lid this morning. And I feel guilty because I literally lambasted my husband this morning with really mean thoughts. Of course, I did apologize. But here's the thing. Oh my gosh, Jill. I am so glad I'm not the only one feeling this way. She says, I get anxiety when my husband is coming home from work. I'm with you. Oh, you just hit the nail on the head. Seriously. 2:30 comes along and I'm already getting anxiety about my husband coming home and my kids coming home. And hopefully my husband doesn't watch this, and I'm not downing my husband, but ever since he started his own business, he is seriously not the most funnest person to be around. And it has made things kind of like rocky at the house. And have you ever noticed, like, if some person comes home with a certain feeling or thought in their brain, it sets the way the whole entire house is, right? I mean, I'm guilty of it too, or I'm even guilty of sabotaging it before it even gets that way. So as I went in, I'm so sorry if I get emotional. I'm like really emotional with this right now. I went into EMDR this morning. My eyes were all swollen and puffy. That's why I'm not going to show you my face because I put my glasses on. But my therapist, I think you could tell something was going on. And I just started sobbing. I was like, I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. Didn't really figure it until the very end where he's like, you're like a sponge. It sounds to me like you are soaking up anybody and everybody's issues and problems and sadness and trials. And then the contention that goes on in the house. And it's frustrating because I was like, okay, then Brian, what is it that I need to do to be able to not feel so intense with everything going on? What is it I need to do? And I listed all the different things. I'm trying to help my kids struggling in school. I'm trying to help them, with the bullying that they had. I'm trying to help blah, 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 right? Here are some key thoughts that I hope helps you if you're having a hard day, a hard week, a hard month, a hard year, whatever it is, okay? And you may think it's silly and stupid. Try it with me because I will be doing this as well. So a few months ago, I told you about how I made a schedule for my kids. It's on my fridge. It has their morning schedule, their afternoon school schedule, and their evening schedule. For a while it worked really, really great, right? And then it started going crazy. And then I sat there in with Brian and I said, I have never made one for myself because I figured I'm not a kid. I'm pretty put together. I don't need anything. But I had started telling him all the things I was feeling guilty for, okay? If I don't have dinner made, which I haven't really cared about being the one making dinner, so my husband does it. And I haven't cared too much about being the one that does the laundry, and so my husband has done it. Well, no wonder why he blows a cork too, right? So we came up with the idea, maybe tonight, depending on where everybody's moods are at, him and I taking a break, maybe going for a drive, letting the kids just disconnect with the TV. I know I'm not saying TV is what we go to, but that's what I'm choosing to do tonight when we get home, or maybe tomorrow. The next biggest thing is him and I are going to get together. Even if you're single or whatever it is, we're going to sit down together and we're going to write our own schedules up, okay? How many of you guys put in your schedule for taking time for you? Do you take a time to relax in the bathtub after a long, hard day? Or are you still like attending to everybody's needs out there? Like my friends and their problems with their marriages and other different people. Like, it's just too much, you guys. After a while, you get to the point where you're like, I am seriously being an empath and absorbing everything out there to the point where you feel like you're going to explode, right? You work out in public like not from home, I'm meaning. You absorb whatever energy comes into your shops that you're working at or to your office that you're working at. And before you know it, without even realizing it, you go home at the end of the day, or you're trying to decompress, and without you even realizing, you feel like your shoulders are so heavy with everybody's issues. Children come home, there's another weight that's put on top of your chest or your shoulders, helping you, to the point where you feel like you're suffocating, right? Your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever comes home from their day. You again hear everything they've gone through, and it's just put on your back. The trials, the struggles that you're going through, that's another weight put on your back. And you're like finding yourself to the point, or maybe I'm asking you, are you finding yourself to the point where you're just like, how do I get through this? How can I make sure that everything that needs to be done is done at home, at work, with myself? And then at the end of the day, you're like, I'm pretty sure I fit me in there, right? Like, I just went on a trip, right? I should be able to be there and say, well, I went on a trip. I fit myself in there. Okay, but how often do I go on a trip? And that's a temporary thing. What are you doing on a daily basis? So what I'm saying to you today before I end this live is write your own schedule down. Put it on your phone, take a picture of it, hang it on the wall, put it in a place that you're going to see it 24/7 so that you can get most of what you need done during the day, and you can feel accomplished. That's going to boost your confidence in yourself. That's going to take that extra stress away from what you're feeling and what you're thinking inside, right? And feeling like you're just not getting done what you need to get done, like my laundry and my dinner, and it gets shoved on somebody else in the family, and then they feel the stressors of that. That is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'll take it. And then the next thing is you have a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a live-in, whatever it is, your situation is, do the same thing with them. Make sure that in that list, it has time for you guys to reconnect. I don't care how long you've been together. I don't care if you have kids at home or not, and you have every day to do that. 1 day a week needs to be specified, not spending money and going to the movies, but specified on connecting with your spouse. What that is going to do is that's going to give them time to disconnect and feel your love, feel your friendship, feel your appreciation, but the same back in return. And so Jake and I are going to work on that tonight. If he answers the phone and he's willing to talk to me after how mean I was this morning, I'm going to give him that idea. But as I was leaving Brian's today, my therapist, I was able to take a big breath of fresh air and be like, you know what? I can do this. These are the 3 important things I need to make sure I get done in the morning. I'm going to put it on my list. These are the 3 important things that I need to get done in the middle of the day before I do A, B, and C. Maybe hanging out with friends or working with friends or whatever it is, because that's important for my house to run more smoother. It's important for me to be able to keep my sanity and to not like load up so much and then blow up on everybody, right? And then it's important for me to not take on everybody and anything's thing. I can be a listener. I can be a lover on helping and listen to them. But at the end of the day, what are you doing to decompress and disconnect from your day? Because you will take what you carried with you that day onto the next day, onto the next, until you finally blow up like I did this morning. So just a thought. I came on here, I kind of had the feeling that there's a lot of us feeling these same things, and he's having me do it's called an HSP test. No, it's not my daughter's autoimmune disease because it's called the same thing, but it's an HSP test that you can Google and see how much of a empath you are and how it affects you. Once you figure out and you're more aware of the type of personality you are, you can kind of gear and hedge your day and your routine with how you respond and react to things. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully those of you who've been struggling the last little while or for a while finds this a little bit of motivation and love from my heart to you, helps you through this day and this week. I love you all. Thanks for watching.